Hey, what's going on, guys? Chief Matt here, and today I am super excited to be doing episode number 4 of Fan Fight. So we're going to be going ahead and getting right into it here. We have an exciting match ahead of us. Looks like, go ahead and pull my phone there. All right, so looks like we have a an Arden on blue team along with a Sky and a Kestrel. It's gonna be interesting to see which of those two go into lane. And then on the other side, looking at a Lyra, Scarf, and Grumpjaw pick. So probably the Scarf in lane, Grumpjaw jungle, Lyra as a support would be my guess. Looks like that Grumpjaw is gonna be going a weapon power, so this is gonna be a very interesting game to watch. Obviously, Grumpjaw extremely strong right now, so gonna be seeing probably a lot of those bursts. A lot of bursts coming out of him specifically, and then we see on the other side with Mortal Diamond and Ice Spartan VG gonna be more sustained damage. So we see the Sky a lot with her forward barrage. If she can get that on, it'll be very nice. And of course the Kestrel's gonna be a lot of burst, although if she's going weapon power, obviously she will also be able to do damage with her auto attack. So potential jungle skirmish here. We do have that forward barrage coming out from Sky, not really hitting Lyra too bad. It looks like both teams will just kind of go back to their respective sides and let this game continue. So let's see, Manuel looking to see if he can go ahead and get some auto attacks in. Ice Spartan VG wanting to engage, using that forward barrage to go ahead and get a little bit of some ground into the enemy tri-brush as Lyra uses her Imperial Sigil to go ahead and get away. Lox looking for an opportunity to dive in. He only has his B ability Hangry, so he has to be careful about how he engages here because he doesn't have too much damage. Lyra taking a little bit more damage than she wants to, using Imperial Sigil to go and get a little bit of a heal before she backs off. Forward barrage is going to do a lot of damage. She will actually go down because of it. Grumpjaw taking the opportunity to go ahead and dive onto Sky, however, won't be enough damage. Spitfire thrown out by Scarf also will not come into contact. So Locke's gonna go ahead and not let that get to him. He's gonna go ahead and farm up his jungle. On the other side, we do see blue team taking advantage of that little win there and grabbing this bottom minion. However, Sky almost goes down to this bottom camp. However, she will be okay. Scarf coming back up to lane, about 1 CS in lane right now so far. Sky at about the same because we really haven't had much farming so far. Really, it's been pretty much fighting. Manuel getting kind of aggressive, coming over to see if he can steal something. That first minion will go to Kestrel, as Manuel pushes even farther, and the second minion will go to Kestrel as well. So unfortunately, not a very good use of time in terms of red team. Coming up for a potential gank here. Spartan has no idea that they're here. There is a slow, there's Hangry, there's Grumpy, and that will be it for Sky. Meanwhile, Arden trying to get away. Grumpjaw putting on some pressure, obviously with that double weapon blade, has a good amount of damage. Very strong hero right now. And we see Manuel just looking to protect this Scarf. Obviously Kestrel coming up. Kestrel does have that weapon damage, so it's only going to do the bulk of its damage to the first enemy in its path. It's not the CP where it just goes through everything. And we see the Spitfire kind of thrown out to just go ahead and check this bushes, make sure the coast is clear for Lyra to go ahead and come down here. Arden and Sky, I guess Sky forward barraging into nothing. That was interesting. Let's go ahead and check on Lox. Lox looks like heading back to go and get some items. Let's see what he picks up. Meanwhile, Kestrel, almost intercepting Lyra as she goes and rotates back onto her side, but this is not a good idea for Lyra to be engaging. Here comes Spartan. There's a forward barrage, very nice. That will result in the death of Lyra once again, unfortunately for Lyra. Just didn't realize that all 3 members of blue team were there. A little bit of an overextension there. So Mortal Diamond looking to go for this bottom camp. Lock sees it. Will he go ahead and dive in? There it is. It will actually go to red team. So very nice job on the side of them. Faker X Druid in the lane here as Scarf. 17, 18 CS. Sky's at 12. Actually doing better than Sky, which is not bad, considering obviously there hasn't been too much farming in this game. It's pretty much been fighting, but yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look. Lyra coming in, using her slow. Good amount of damage from Scarf coming out with that Spitfire. Imperial Sigil thrown in to go ahead and give both members of red team a heal. Lox coming up to go ahead and assist. Ice Spartan VG getting dropped fairly low by Lyra, getting that Vanguard from Arden. Arden taking a lot of damage. Arden will fall due to that Grumpjaw. Grumpjaw now having a heavy steel and a weapon blade, doing a good amount of damage with his auto attacks. He's going to go ahead and take as much farm as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Scarf is going to go and farm up this lane, see what he can do to the turret. Kestrel's almost back though, so not going to be able to probably get too much done. He's probably going to drop a Spitfire and some goop and then probably back out. We see meanwhile Sky and Arden both on the way as well. Grumpjaw and Lyra rotating through the jungle as the game progresses. We're almost at about the 5-minute mark. The jungle has intensified. We do have the crystal sentries, both crystal sentries out, as well as the jungle shop. So that will obviously open up more strategic opportunities for both teams. And now we see Lox heading over to these minions. Obviously his attack speed is definitely increasing now that he has a Swift Shooter. Potential jungle skirmish happening in the lane here. Arden picking up some vision for his team. Sky using forward barrage to go ahead and finish off these minions. Manuel doing a good amount in terms of slow utility damage. Lox diving in with Grumpy, gonna do a good amount of damage. Spitfire coming out. The goop is a little bit too far forward. Another Spitfire thrown out, basically trying to scare away blue team. Manuel taking a good amount of damage from this forward barrage. Lox diving in with Grumpy and Hangry, taking up the stun though. And he's going to have to go ahead and get out from that Kestrel. So Kestrel used active camo ability to go ahead and get that stun on to Grumpjaw. So very, very nice job on the side of her. She's going to go ahead and head down and get some minion farm as we continue to progress through this game. Spartan VG, meanwhile, still in the lane. Gonna do whatever he can. Looks like he's going CP, so it's gonna be mostly his forward barrage that's gonna be doing the damage. And down here we do have this Scarf that's rotating for potential jungle fight, but it looks like Sky is aware of it as well. Manuel using that Imperial Sigil stuffed used by Lox to go ahead and bring this Arden all the way back. That will be it for him. There's a one-shot, one-kill onto Lox. Will connect. Not doing too much damage though, shockingly. Spartan VG coming down, looking to see what he can do. Lox taking this heal very, very nicely. Scarf using that Spitfire. Sky, she used her forward barrage, but just caught in a very, very bad and weird situation. Instead of strafing backwards, she strafed forward, so she basically strafed into the enemy team. And unfortunately, that will be the death for her. Faker Druid, throwing out these Spitfires where he can. Obviously, has to be careful now that Arden is here. Arden is able, obviously, to dive in on him and get some zoning. Let's go ahead and follow Lyra here as she heads up into lane. Obviously, blue team clearing out their jungle. Kestrel taking some of these back minion camps. Looks like Kestrel going for the Sorrow Blade first. If we look at builds real quickly in terms of the laners, we have 48 CS to 41, so not bad in terms of that. Obviously, they're about 20, arguably 20 CS behind. However, there really hasn't been doing too much, or not as much farming as fighting this game, so obviously we can see why the farm is a little bit lower than in most standard games. In terms of the supports, both of them have their fountain, and then the junglers, we have weapon power, both weapon power carries actually in the jungle, so very different from what I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing weapon power on the lane, but yeah, this is a nice change. So team fight breaking out, we see stuff to use as well as that forward barrage, but the forward barrage is off. Dragon's Breath coming in from the Scarf. Scarf trying to get to Sky, but she can't because of this Arden here. And yeah, Scarf, throwing out that Spitfire, that will actually hit the barrier of the turret, not going to do anything. But yeah, so basically the death from above kind of zoned them in, but then once they got past that, they were able to basically push in. One shot, one kill coming out. That is not going to hit any member of red team. Red team looking for an engagement here. I'm surprised they didn't push any farther. Spitfire going in, that will come into contact with Arden. Sky taking a lot of damage. Grumpjaw dives in, but he gets caught by the gauntlet wall. Another auto attack will finish. Lox taking another turret shot for that. However, that was worth it. Kestrel, meanwhile, catching Manuel out. He will go down, doing a lot of damage with her arrows. Meanwhile, Lox heading onto Kestrel. That will be it for her. And a Spitfire onto Arden will get that burn damage going. That will be it with a finishing auto attack from Grumpjaw. So very, very nice job on the side of red team. Grumpjaw doing a lot of damage in terms of yeah, just he has the Sorrow Blade, he has the Blazing Salvo, he's got some crit going already. He's just extremely fed. He's got the, okay, so he just picked up the Tornado Trigger. It's going to be very, very detrimental if blue team can't shut him down quickly, because honestly, he tore through Kestrel. Kestrel tore through that Sky, but then he just got up to Kestrel and he just kept auto attacking her, and probably about 3 or 4 auto attacks she was gone. So very, very nice feeding on the side of red team. They're getting that Grumpjaw fed. He's got 47 CS. He's basically catching up to the laner on blue team. He's got a lot of CS. Getting in dangerous territory here. We see all 3 members of blue team potential caught out here, using Grumpy to go ahead and dive away. Very, very nice move on the side of Lox. Imperial Sigil thrown in to go ahead and get some damage on that. Arden Locks diving in, getting those auto attacks off with that Tornado Trigger. However, the Dragon's Breath coming out. Scarf wants this Kestrel. It looks like he will not get him because of a Halcyon Potion. Crystal Sentry moving forward. Stuffed coming in on that Arden. However, Grumpjaw taking a lot of damage. He will have to release that Sky. And now blue team kind of has this fight. However, both of them are really low. One shot will come, kill comes out. That will miss. Arden looking for the engagement. Red team is both... or all members of red team, or both members of red team, are a lot higher in terms of health than blue team. But looks like they're still not going to engage. Scarf coming around this side, seeing if he can get Sky. Getting the Spitfire. Oh, and there's another one. It's still not going to be enough, though. Arden diving in with the Gauntlet, but he's the only one there, so that's a very bad Gauntlet. I'm not sure what the point of that was. But we see, meanwhile, this Scarf, doing a lot. You see the Spitfire coming out of him. He's pretty accurate with it. Obviously, he's not doing as much damage right now because he doesn't have the broken bit yet, so he doesn't really have any scaling. He does have some sustain with that Eve of Harvest and obviously the utility with the Frostburn. However, yeah, nothing that's going to set him back or set him forward, I guess, in terms of damage, because he really doesn't have too much. So let's go ahead and continue watching this game here. We have red team doing the best they can. Grumpjaw just trying to stutter with these auto attacks, doing a very nice job. Actually, Grumpjaw has started some defense, which is interesting. He is going for CP defense, so he's going to be countering the Sky. He will still be vulnerable to Kestrel, or fairly vulnerable to Kestrel. Obviously, Aegis does have some armor, however, not as much as shield. Icebarn VG coming down with Mortal Diamond. Manuel looking for a potential engagement here, but he does have to be careful. Imperial Sigil going in. Forward Barrage will come out and get some poke on Emmanuel. He will sidestep out of that. Locks. Looking for something. It looks like he wants to shop. He doesn't have enough gold for anything right now. So, Lyra, wow. Lyra being super aggressive, looking for this engagement. Glimmer shots coming out of Lyra, taking a lot of damage. Dragon's Breath comes in. One shot, one kill comes in. That will take out Lyra. Icebarn VG. Sky is getting focused down heavily by Grumpjaw and Scarf. Scarf doing a lot of damage with that Spitfire. Stuff comes in from Grumpjaw. He will take her all the way back. A Spitfire perfectly placed will go ahead and take her out. Gorgeous combination there. Just as that Kester was being released from that stuff, Scarf had a Spitfire ready for her, and it was perfectly aimed. The goop was just, wow. Very, very nice team fight on the side of red team. Unfortunately, blue team will be left there. That is a gold payout for red, setting the gold a little bit farther apart than they were before. 20.3k to about 23.9k. 24k. Okay, so about almost a 4k gold lead that we have here right now. Scarf getting a lot of minions, so that is going to be very, very nice on the side of him. We have the Spitfire coming out. Manuel using this B to go ahead and zone them out. Forward Barrage coming out from Sky, however, not going to really come in contact with anything. And actually, Sky's getting dropped fairly low. Alright, that Spitfire won't do anything. Just kind of throwing out the Spitfires when you can. As a poke mage like Scarf, you really have to take advantage of that long-range poke ability and just use it as you can. Even if it's not hitting, it is basically zoning them because it's limiting their movement. It's limiting the amount of pass that they can take around a certain area. Icebar and VG hanging in the lane. Here we see a potential engagement from red team. However, Crystal Sentry will be involved here if they decide to take this fight, and it doesn't look like they will. That's probably a smart idea on their part. I don't know. I don't know if Grumpjaw would be able to burst them down fast enough, but now they have been made. Spitfire being thrown out, doing a good chunk of damage even to Arden. Looks like Scarf going for that Broken Mythia as predicted, so very, very nice third pickup, I would think. Obviously, he needs to have that stacking crystal damage if he wants to be able to do more damage with his Dragon's Breath. If he can go ahead and get the stacks and then use the Dragon's Breath at the end of the fight to finish off, that'd be very interesting. Or he could use it as an engagement. I don't know. Either way, Mortal Diamond, picking here. Manuel has to be careful because he's really the only one here. Arden looking for an engagement. We only have 2 members of red team. This is an ideal place for blue team to engage. However, all 3 members of red team are now here. Dragon's Breath comes in, 1 shot, 1 kill, will miss. However, Sky gets extremely focused by red team. However, Scarf getting extremely focused as well. Grumpjaw trying to do as much to Kestrel as he possibly can. Stuffed going in onto Arden. He will go ahead and see if he can catch up to Sky. Scarf keeping his distance from the fight as he is extremely low. Sky now extremely low. Locks will go ahead and finish him off. Now Arden is out of Grumpjaw's belly. Arden is the only one left. Lyra getting dropped extremely low. Scarf has now rejoined the fight. Scarf will go ahead and throw a Spitfire in there, but the Grumpjaw will go ahead ahead and sidestep that. Locks looking to go onto this Arden. Arden doing as much as he can, but that he will most likely go down. Grumpjaw doing a lot of damage. Crystal Sentry going after the Lyra and not after the Grumpjaw. Shockingly, Locks probably would have gone down if it wasn't as a result of the Crystal Sentry leaving. Crystal Sentry heading back. Locks will be able to get away in time. Wow. So Crystal Sentry, if he focused that Locks actually would have died, the Grumpjaw. So I'm so confused. He just literally walked right by him. So that was kind of funny. I think it was because the Scarf was the one that was giving aggro to the enemy team, so that was the one that he was focusing, whereas Locks was just like sitting there, so he wasn't really worried about him. I think that's probably what the AI said. But yeah, if from the outside looking in, it was kind of funny because he was like such an obvious choice to go ahead and kill, but he didn't. So here is the flare. Kraken awakened. A little bit of lag there. Sorry about that. We have Manuel looking for the engagement, throwing the flare out. Arden forward barrage coming in. That will not be effective. Spitfire coming right back in. That will be a very, very nice one. Scarf now caught right in the middle. One shot, one kill comes in. That will land. Locks now looking to do as much damage to Sky as he possibly can. He uses stuff onto Sky to bring her all the way back, but now he is still not able to finish her off, and she uses that forward barrage to go and zone him out. Grumpjaw actually is able to catch up to Sky. Very, very impressive on the side of this Grumpjaw. And now we see kind of just a stalemate from both teams. Kestrel is super low. Grumpjaw is fairly low. Neither team wants to engage. However, Lyra sees them going up. Kestrel uses her active camo ability. Grumpjaw now engaging onto Arden, using Grumpy to go ahead and catch up to them. Gauntlet comes in, catches the stun onto Locks. Now it is up to Manuel to go ahead and slow them, but yeah, they're going to get away. Locks not really able to catch up to them. Obviously not a very good chasing hero, Grumpjaw. He's just not very fast. So, but yeah. Exploring the jungle here, obviously Locks, he does have that Star Blade, he does have the Tornado Trigger, he has the Aegis, he's going for that monocle, so he is countering Sky a lot right now. So we saw that fight, he was attacking Sky, and it actually looked like at one point that Sky was going to be able to take him out, but that Aegis really kept him alive just long enough in order for him to get enough damage onto her. He actually was able to take her out. So very, very nice job on the side of that Grumpjaw. Obviously a very nice decision to counter Sky and not Kestrel, because Kestrel really not even focusing Grumpjaw right now. Scarf, you know, holding his own in the lane here. Spitfire doing a lot of damage. Dragon's Breath coming out. He's not really going to be able to catch up to anyone. He dives all the way in here. Once one shot, one kill is coming out. Locks diving in, doing a ton of damage to Kestrel. Kestrel will fall. So will Sky. And now Arden is next. So just stuff used on Arden, and he will fall as well. So incredible job on the side of this Grumpjaw, being able to dive in. That Scarf almost used as a distraction. It seemed like you know, all three members of blue team thought this Scarf was by himself. They started using their abilities, one shot, one kill. Grumpjaw basically used that as an opportunity to go ahead and just dive forward, and obviously he got like Kestrel down in 3 auto attacks, and then Sky down in another 1 or 2, and then obviously Arden was, you know, the support left to focus down. But yeah, very, very nice job on the side of this Grumpjaw. We're seeing very dominant plays by Grumpjaw this meta, this patch, and so obviously he's a first pick in a lot of games. So is Baron. If Baron doesn't get banned, if Grace doesn't get banned, I think Grumpjaw would definitely get banned in most draft matches. And this draft match, actually, neither of them got banned because this was a draft match. So somehow Grumpjaw made it through the draft. I think Grace and Baron were banned out. So there's your answer to that. So, looking for a potential engagement here. Locks diving all the way in past the death from above. Sky using that forward barrage to go ahead and zone, but Grumpjaw just doing massive amounts of damage with his auto attacks. Now Sky will fall, as well as Kestrel. Arden is the only one left. They're going to go ahead and follow up this with some damage. Scarf doing a good amount with his Spitfire and Goop, but really it's the Grumpjaw that is able to go ahead and get that massive amount of damage with the Sorrow Blade, Tornado Trigger, and the Tyrant's Monocle. Actually working on a Bone Saw now. He does have that Piercing Spear to go ahead and do some armor pierce damage for the ones that have built some armor, which is actually only Arden. Unfortunately, both carries on blue team really have not built any defensive items, despite the massive lead that kind of red team is developing here. For some reason, the only defense that red team has, or actually no, Sky has an Aegis. So Scarf is doing less damage to Sky. However, that may be why we see Grumpjaw diving in and then Scarf is doing, you know, sizable damage, but not as much as Grumpjaw. Grumpjaw literally dives in and he just annihilates them, and that's because they don't have defense for weapon power. But anyway, fight engaging here. We do see Death from Above comes in. Grumpjaw will use stuff to go ahead and get by that. He's going to go ahead and bring Sky right next to his team. He's going to go and burst her down with some auto attacks, but however, he cannot catch up to her. She is now going to be able to get away from him. Grumpjaw has to go ahead and pursue this as the Kraken marches towards the base. Sky cuts back across with a Surrey strike. Grumpjaw not able to catch. Oh, he is able to catch up, but he's so low. A fountain comes out from Lyra. Scarf using this, wow, so Scarf using the Spitfire. Kestrel almost able to kite around it, but Scarf not able, unfortunately, or Kestrel not able to, you know, get around that Scarf. So, unfortunately for that Sky, that was so close. She almost actually had that Grumpjaw, and in that, if she got the Grumpjaw, that may have been a different fight, but unfortunately he was just barely able to catch up with her, and that was the end of the match. We had Kraken, and they were able to push through. So very nice job on the side of, obviously, Red Team. We see Grumpjaw 17-1. Very dominant play by the Grumpjaw, just constantly diving in. We saw the Aegis coming out from Sky. We saw the Light Shield and Reflex Block coming out from the Kestrel, but there was no armor. Like, shockingly enough, there was absolutely zero armor on Blue Team other than the Atlas Pauldron and Arden. And Arden is the support. Arden has to have the Atlas, but honestly, they should have had a Metal Jacket. I feel like Sky could have used an Atlas as well. As soon as Grumpjaw caught up to her, she could have activated her Atlas Pauldron. She could have massively limited the amount of damage that he did. Obviously, he had the capability to block it if he wanted to with his Aegis. However, having that Atlas Pauldron would have given her so many more options in terms of trying to get the damage output of that Grumpjaw down, because honestly, he was doing so much to her. We saw the Scarf doing a good amount of damage to them. However, they had, you know, they had defense to counter the Scarf. So obviously, the reason why we saw the Grumpjaw doing so much more damage than that Scarf that game was because they weren't countering him. He was diving in. He was basically deleting them in about 3 to 4 auto attacks if they were at full health. So very nice job on the side of the Grumpjaw. Obviously, he could have been countered by Blue Team if they wanted to. So obviously, they kind of let the Grumpjaw get ahead. Obviously, he was a great Grumpjaw as well, but they definitely didn't really try to counter him either. So when you let that Grumpjaw get fed, there really was no coming back. He had the Sorrow Blade and the Tyrant's Monocle. That's when it really started to go. And then once he got the Tyrant's Monocle, he was just, or sorry, the Sorrow Blade and the Tornado Trigger is when it really started to go. Once he had the Tyrant's Monocle, he just began ripping through people. And so yeah, that is going to be the end of the match. Obviously, great job on the side of everyone. 17-1-2, 3-1-16, and 1-4-14. So Lyra pretty much involved in all of the kills that game. Scarf involved in even more, 16 assists. Very nice job on the side of that Scarf. And that is going to be it for this game. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.